Okay, so we've installed the ESXi client, and what we'll do is we'll access it now through vSphere, the vSphere client. So we normally have the username of root to be able to access it. It just takes a little minute to connect. So the other way we can access it is through SSH. Okay. So we can see the VMs running on this machine. So this is the main controller node for the system. So Lab Manager is running. There is a router, storage, and a virtual center. Okay, so we can have a look at all the resources on this client. Okay, so we can see it's a Dell PowerEdge R410 server with 8 CPUs. There are 4 VMs running on it, and you can see the CPU and the memory and the amount of the guest operating system that's used, the provisioned space and the actual use space. We can look at the performance of each of the VMs. And within configuration we can actually see all the details of our client. So we can see the number of processors here, the memory, and so on. So memory is a key thing on the machine, and we can see in this case we have 12 gig of actual physical memory. You can see on the machine that we have a number of users. There's the root user and the VPX user. We can look at our events on the client and the basic permissions. Okay, so there's the VPX user and root. If we need to, we can look at the basic settings for each of the VMs that are on the machine. So this is Lab Manager that's running on one of the VMs. Look at this resource allocation, and if we need to, we can actually suspend, restart it. This is a router VM that's running on the machine. We have a storage one and virtual center. In the configuration we can look at all the basic details of the machines, so such as the shared storage, the networking that we have, and we can see here that we have 2 virtual switches. One we can see is linking the internal student network in this case onto the router, and we have an adapter onto this interface, and then we can see the router is also connected to the other virtual switch, which means that all the traffic from the student network must go through the router, which actually has a firewall on it. So we can see here this is on the inside, this is on the outside interface. So we can see that we have the outside interface of the router, Lab Manager, Virtual Center, and the storage is all connected to an external network connection here. And we also have our management network that we connect to. And then on the other side we have a virtual switch which is connecting the inside port of the router to the student network, which is created on the VMs. We can easily add networks and remove them as required. Okay, so it has some basic other things. We can see on this device that we have two network cards. One is a 1 gigabit connection, and the other one is 100 megabits.